bless America.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
God bless America. God bless America. Cafe anyway.
Anyway.
I'll be back.
Uh-oh. It's Mike Matthews, Cafe Anyway. FF episode 1215, 1215. And yes, here we are on election day. Today we're going to hear from Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, the Brewmaster PLUS. We'll hear from the fascinating
Mike's Daily Podcast
segment where we hear fascinating things. The segment called
Mike's Daily Podcast,
the Wow That's Wild Files. But now I'm going to sing a song about your ballot. You got to fill that out or you'll be a shallot. That's a onion type thing. And then if you don't vote, you'll be really depressing. And I've gone over and over this, but you know, there are some people.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I don't even want to ask if they voted. I know there's a couple that I know. They're so lazy.
Mike's
and I know
Daily
tomorrow
Podcast,
when I ask them if they voted, they're going to go, oh, I forgot. That is not an excuse. You cannot be alive and not know there's an election going on and forget to vote. You have got to be kidding me. And I know I'm going to hear this excuse from them, and it's so depressing. And I don't. But Mike, we're really busy. We don't have time to do things like look at a proposition book, but we have time to sit in front of the TV and watch 7,000 hours of Stranger Things or House of Cards or Game of Thrones or who cares what. We have time for that. Watch a football game, but no time to figure out what the heck is going on in our state, in our country. I know it's cliche, but if you don't vote, if you don't look at the, if you don't try, you have no leg to stand on when you're when you're complaining about the government, when you're complaining about the way. That's how I feel. Look who just walked in. Hi, Mike. It's Benita, the rodeo queen. How y'all doing?
That's a disgruntled fiddle player, tell you what.
What?
Benita's all happy because she just voted for the first female president, and I voted for Orange Hitler.
Well, I'm glad you guys found stuff to vote for. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys voted. Do you agree with me with the fact that people, it's a fact that if they do not, vote, they really have no reason to complain?
Yeah, they got no reason.
Mark, they have no reason whatsoever. See? Benita and the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, real people, real live human beings. So incredibly flesh and blood. Agree with me. It is so dark right now. Look who else just walked in.
Hi, Mac. It's Benita, the rodeo queen. How y'all doing?
No, you're the brewmaster.
Oh, that's right. I make the root beer. I'm the brewmaster. Oh boy, have some root beer.
Thank you. I need a little root beer this early in the morning where it's still dark. And then it's dark early in the evening now. I was walking my dog around 5 o'clock and all of a sudden the sun went down. And I was, dang. Oh, well. So on Google and Facebook, it tells you that you can drop your ballot off at, where do you live? It asks. So we can figure out where you're supposed to go vote. First off, they're doing that so they can find out where you live if they haven't found that out already. Well, Google already knew where I lived, and so did Facebook. I don't know, wait, actually, does Facebook know? They got the general idea I'm in Podcastro Valley, but they're using that to get your information. That's nice that they're trying to tell you where to vote. But honestly, if you don't know where you're supposed to go vote at this point, you probably didn't register and you're probably not even going to be able to vote. I know because that happened to me in 1990. And I was dating a girl named Lisa, and she had registered to vote even though she had just moved to, we knew each other in college, and she actually was from the Bay Area, but we were going to college in Santa Barbara at UCSB, and well, she wanted to move down to be closer to me. It's a romantic story. And she did, and then she got to vote, and I didn't. I lived where she moved for me. What a spoiled brat I am. She moved for me. But she ended up staying, not where I live, but she ended up continuing away from the Bay Area and into the Inland Empire, and lives somewhere out in the Inland Empire that's east of Los Angeles, in the like deserty area, kind of like almost on your way to Palmdale, Palms. Look at my palms. Oh, Lisa. She ended up getting married, had a daughter. What a great person. You know, you think back to those college romances, and you think back to those days, and you're so idealistic, and you've got a mullet.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Thank God it's not a picture of me with a mullet. The picture today is of the Rosie the Riveter factory. Why did I pick that picture? Why do you think? Because if we get our first female president today, I wanted to remember those hardworking women back during World War II, and how it took that long. It's taken so long in our country's history to finally have a female president, and just to recognize the women, the hardworking women, the women that move hundreds of miles for their men, even though they just knew each other for a couple of months in college. What amazing women. I have such respect for them. Sorry, Lisa, you moved all that way just for stupid old me. What will we miss most about this campaign season, the past 2 years of crap? I think we'll miss most the conspiracy theories. The crazy, raging conspiracy theories. Oh, they won't go away. With Hillary as president, they'll reach a fever pitch. If Trump on the very far outside, if we have a 2000 again, some of you weren't live then, but 2000, crazy election. Oh my gosh. It was so close. And all of a sudden we had, it really looked like we were going to have Gore as president. And then suddenly that was Bush. So it could happen the same way this year. Who knows? But that is... The conspiracy theories will continue no matter what president we have, and if Trump is president, he's going to use the seat of the presidency to talk about all his wonderful conspiracy theories. But there is one theory that's been floating around that will, I'm sure, get even more momentum about the James Comey recent decision not to add the emails from the Uma Abedin's computer and whatnot to the investigation of Hillary. People going, oh my gosh, there were thousands and thousands of more emails than Hillary had on her server, and they say that they did all the investigating in like 9 days. How is that possible when it took them years to investigate Hillary over just the emails on her server? Whatever. Finally, I'd like to thank everyone for putting out into the interview I did with Autopilot. I had a lot of breaths and breathing. I hope you enjoyed the breathing. There was a lot of on that show. And I just want to say, hey, I am human and I do need to breathe just like you. Next time I'll try to breathe off mic. I'm Mike. And this show is called Off Mic. No, it's not. That would be a good secondary name for Mike's Daily Podcast. Mike'sDailyPodcast.com is where you can hear all the past interviews, past shows, check out the past podcast pictures, All those can be found at mikesdailypodcast.com. Today's podcast picture, by the way, of the Rosie the Riveter factory. I walked there all the way from Point Isabel. That's quite a walk. And Basil and I did that recently. So here he is, 8 years old, and he's still got lots of endurance. I'm so happy of my little dog, my little boy, my little boxer. Such a great dog. You should get a dog today. Lots of dogs out there need love. That's my public service announcement. And you can help out the show through the Amazon link at mikesdailypodcast.com. If you're going to do any shopping on Amazon, go through that link. And that helps us out. There's also the PayPal, and you'll get a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters. And there's also past interviews like the one I did on yesterday's show, all there at mikesdailypodcast.com. But now, the Wow That's Wild files.
The Wow That's Wild files.
Obama has not sang his final song, but when Catherine Turk sits in Lafayette Square this morning with her husband John, she sometimes entertains a fantasy. Her fantasy is this: President Obama looks out of the window of the White House and sees her. Obama sees Catherine, and he sees the signs she's arranged on the ground around her. Play golf, reads one. What helps you helps us. Remember how they were picking on him about playing golf, for God's sake, says Catherine, exasperated at the people who think the president isn't allowed to blow off a little steam. Stay thoughtful, stay strong, reads another sign. I think I've seen these people, too. I haven't been to Washington, D.C. in years, but what was it? 2011? Obama was president. I think they were there, as I recall. You know how people accuse him of being weak, Catherine says, because he's thoughtful. Another sign reads, Obama, we believe in you. Catherine thinks Obama, deep in the middle of a crisis, looks out the window, sees one of her signs, and feels a little better, she hopes. Catherine is 73, a trained nurse psychotherapist. John is 77, a retired psychiatrist. 2 years ago, they sold their big house in Chevy Chase. Yes, for those of you who don't know, that is a town near the capital. And I had a friend that lived there, so Chevy Chase, like the comedic actor. And then they moved to an apartment in Columbia Heights and were eager to engage with their new neighborhood. I don't know how not to be an activist, Catherine says. Some people just have it in their genes. Oh, that's true. She thought they'd get involved with the community, but then Catherine noticed something. The right wing was pillaring Obama. She'd come to expect that, but so were some on the left. She'd been very active in gay rights, publishing a book about her gay sons coming out to help other parents, and was aghast at liberals who sniped at Obama. It was so frustrating, she said, so she decided to make some signs with magic marker on white poster board and drag John to the White House. They took Metro downtown and walked to Lafayette Square. They set up folding chairs. They held up their signs. My husband was all nervous, she said. He worried, did they need a permit? Would they get arrested? She didn't think so, but who could say for sure? The main thing was to do something to show the president that they were people who liked him and approved of what he was doing. And this big Secret Service guy starts to look at us, she said, and he comes across the street. Sir, he said to John. Yes, John said. Your sign is upside down. Here's your sign. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, it's so rude. I just cleared my throat on Mike's Daily Podcast. So sorry. I'd go back and edit that out, but I don't have time. Ever since the Turks have been in Lafayette Square most every Tuesday from about 10 a.m. to noon, except for when it's raining. Our posters would not hold up in the rain, says Catherine. The tourists and others who see them are sometimes confused. People ask, what are you protesting? Catherine tells them, we're not protesting anything. We're trying to support our president. The Turks are sitting in their chairs. Catherine thinks that makes them approachable, that they're sitting in their chairs and that they're elderly. And so, you know, I don't think of 70s as elderly anymore now that I'm in my late 40s and I have a birthday coming up really soon. And so people approach them. Some want to take photos with them. Catherine even gives them a sign to hold. Some foreigners say, that wouldn't be allowed in my country. At first, the people who didn't agree with them were civil. They'd say, I couldn't agree with you less. And we'd say, people have different experiences in living. We understand. That's what democracy's all about. But over the 18 months, the Turks have been mounting their vigil of support. As Donald Trump rose in the polls, the mood changed. Then people felt like they had permission now to be mean. And then people would say mean things. I'm taking a picture of you not because I like you, but because my friends won't believe that people are as stupid as you two are. One time a pair of men came up and said, what are you two white people doing there supporting that? And they said the bad N-word. When that man walked away, his friend hung back and said, don't tell him, but my wife agrees with you. Still, the Turks think their weekly vigil, conducted alongside the anti-nukers and the anti-pipeliners and the other antis, has done some good. Catherine says, I think we've made a difference in people's lives. They come away thinking, wow, you know, I didn't think of it that way, even people who disagree with us. I think we put a face on the people who are supportive of Obama. We're not crazy people. And by the way, Catherine supports Hillary. And that story written by John Kelly in the Washington Post, also on MSN News. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. So go out and vote, whoever you want to vote for. Just do it. And you're going to do that right now, Benita. That's right, Buck. I just got to go and get my voting hat on. It's inside. I left it in. Bow, bow. There she goes. Wonderful. It's beautiful out here. I saw 2 deer, actually. Not here, but on my way to work today. And I just want to say thank you, deer. Have a great day. Voting. This show couldn't end more strangely. Could it end more strangely? Aw. I guess it could. Mike with a mullet.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!